Welcome back, my dear family. I just want to say, straight from the heart, I'm loving the comments in which you've given as far as feedback. Welcome everyone to another episode of Lancescurv. Don't forget that whenever you don't see some of my content on the social media platforms, you can always go to Lancescurv.com, Lancescurv.com. The app is done with. They try to raise the price, they switch companies, and it's not worth it. With a website like mine, Lancescurv.com, just save the site to your home screen on your phone or on your computer. It works just the same. Many of the prompts brought you back to Lancescurv.com anyway. 22 years at this point, almost 23 years of work online, and we're moving fast toward a quarter of a century. Lots of content. Just dig deep. Anyway, I'm glad to be back. And like I told you this week, we're going to be putting out a lot more content, various content. And as it comes, I'm always ready and strapped with a camera or some recording device to capture the good stuff. And I'm amping it up now, and I'll show you sometime later on in the week when the opportunity presents itself. So anyway, I wanted to speak about, our lack of discipline. Our lack of discipline is eating up our money. And it's more than just money. But I had to put it that way because money for many is a very emotional topic to speak about, and very emotional when we have it. And us as a people, we have some serious issues. Not that other people don't, but generally we do, and we don't want to face them. Over the years, many years ago, I had to face a lot of things that I was doing that I would say was pretty much like poking a hole in a bucket that you're trying to fill up with water. Why would you do that? Because the water's going to come leaking out, but we don't realize it. We're so emotional with our spending. Some of us, admittedly, have esteem issues. We feel we have to keep up with the latest fashions and buy the latest stuff, or we see someone else purchase something and we have to go get it. They get a car and we don't have one, but we're doing fine without it. And we don't really need one, but we go out and get one anyway and try to get a bigger, better model. It's crazy. So I would say that when we check our esteem, we offset our twisted emotions on money. But that's deep. We'll save that one for later. But just on a practical level, we splurge every now and then. We treat ourselves, and we tell ourselves sometimes openly, I deserve this, because it's kind of wrong to do so at that particular point. But if overall we had better money habits, and limit the frivolous spending, we'd have money aside for emergencies. We can go on a vacation, pay off debt, but we don't see it that way because we're attached to money in a certain way. And we can work on it, make it better. But just on a practical level, not getting too deep, but just sort of like say for example, bottled water. When we go somewhere and we're at the gas station and we're thirsty and we go buy bottled water, it doesn't seem like anything bad, right? But that bottle of water, Wawa or this other, because that's like a gas station that has little eateries inside. You can buy your snacks and a lot of practical things for those who are out of America who don't know. You have different places like that late at night, and you say, man, and they have the colorful stuff in the fridge, bottled up, even if you don't get water. These little drinks that are so, and you write it off. You say, it might be $2.50, but I need that. I want that right now. And you go to the cashier in one of these convenience gas stations, and you ring up a tab of $20 of things that you want to drive and snack on. Rest stops. We're not even talking about just bottled water, but rest stops. You go in the fast food joints, which are really not doing anything for you nutritionally, but you're paying so much because they got you trapped off, right? And if you drive a lot and you're on a highway and you're making little trips between cities, those things will get you, especially at night. All I can say is that many people would say, well, listen, just buy a refillable bottle and drink tap water. But tap water can have heavy metals in it, bacteria, different organisms in it. You don't know. You have to boil that and take your chance and see how much of the quality is of the water in your hometown or your city. Believe it or not, and I don't know how true it is today, But as grimy and nasty as New York City is, and I'm a New Yorker, 38 years in, I'm saying it like I was in a penitentiary somewhere. Yeah, man, I did 38 and a half years in New York, man. You can't tell me anything. But it could be Chicago, it could be Detroit, it could be LA, it could be Houston or Dallas, whatever. Check to see the quality of your tap water. It may not be as bad. And New York City at one point had some of the best water in the world. But some of the biggest potholes and the grimiest air, go figure. If it's good water and you want to wing it, still boil it. Put it in a big container and get a refillable bottle and drink the tap water. I'm not saying to do that because I'm not pretty much trusting that all the way, because you have these heavy metals that could accumulate over time in your body and bring you a problem down the road or some type of bacteria. So don't say I'm condoning it, but it could be practical in order to save money. You know what I mean? But it can get very expensive. You know, for those of us who work a corporate job or work a job where we have to have our clothes crisp and clean, dry cleaning is another way that we waste money. We're racking up the cost just taking our clothes in, getting it dry clean. If you have lots of clothes and you're in a professional setting and you pretty much say, well, I have to spend, and maybe you can use it as a tax write-off. I don't know. But if you can't, still, you might want to get a at-home dry cleaning kit and do the work yourself. That will save you a lot of money over time. And it gives you something to do. Makes you love your clothes a lot more, right? A lot of time, you know, we spend time surfing over Instagram and Facebook and YouTube. And if you're on YouTube, make sure it's something that's going to teach you something. There's a wealth of information on YouTube, right? I mean, if you applied yourself, you could be, it's like going to college. If you pick the right things, I've learned so much on YouTube, right? And I have a fear like, what if they take it away? Where am I going to get these resources? Like this information from specialists and just people sharing things. We live in a wonderful time. Don't waste your time surfing online when you could do most of the stuff yourself, right? But say, for example, you're into coffee. The daily coffees are killing people in the pocket. And say, for example, you go to Starbucks or one of these places anywhere outside. And say, for example, you pay $4 each morning for a specialty drink. You know, 5-6 days a week, I'm not sure, but it may add up to around $85 a month. If it's $85 a month you're spending on coffee that you can make at home, you know how much that is a year? $1,020. If you saw even $50 on the ground right now, and if you're not an American, the equivalent, whether you know the pound or the CD, if you're in Ghana and just different currencies, I'm talking money. If you see just a sizable amount that's not like $1 million, you're going to jump down there and you're going to grab that money. Just to get off the subject for a second, I remember walking down Sutphin Boulevard right below Archer Avenue. And it's right below because you have the Long Island Railroad right there above you. And lots of times when you're walking under there, people get up under there. It's a long trestle, wide trestle. When it's raining, they'll just stand there until, you know, and then you have buses that might stop under there. I don't know how it is now. It's been a long time since I've been there. But that's in Jamaica, Queens. But I remember walking under that one day. You know, it's pretty high, you know, but you have the artificial lights, and this was the daytime, but it was getting to be in the evening. And I saw a 20 on the ground. I looked around real quick and I picked it up. Now, I looked around to see if somebody dropped it. Honestly, I was not going to just see somebody drop money and not give it to them. But nobody was looking. And you know what? I saw 50. 3 steps up. But I picked it up cool. I don't want to jump down here. You know what I mean? I act like that I was tying my shoe, and I picked it up and I looked around when nobody was looking at me tying my shoe. I said, let me keep going. So I stood there and I looked around, and over by the post, one of the posts that holds the trestle up, there was another bunch of crumpled 20s and 50s. I'm like, what the heck? Is this a trick? Is this marked money? I mean, it's in the street, so nobody can arrest me for that. I must have picked up close to $400 on that street. Seriously. So it's like, wow, money is precious. And I didn't go and spend it. I said, let me hold on to this because this is a blessing. But if you have to have that caffeine, do your coffee at home. You know, I mean, brewing coffee at home, from what I've researched, is usually like, depending on what kind of coffee, how much it costs, where you live, how expensive it is, but it's around 17 cents per cup, as opposed to $4. and you're inside this establishment and you feel, nah, do it yourself and save a lot of money, because it's the accumulation of what you save. You can get one of those insulated bottles that keeps your stuff hot or cold. You make your coffee at home and you save a lot of money. Habits, y'all, habits. Our lack of discipline is causing us to eat up our money. And there's nothing wrong with splurging a little bit when you go out with friends and you want to have the ambience and an atmosphere and you want to enjoy. You don't want to sit there and, oh, got friends coming on, I got to cook a meal. No, and you got to do that too. Invite them over. Say, hey, you want to plan on going out, Friday? Hey, let's find something on the TV to look at. And not that you're actually going to watch it, but it's the backdrop. Might be a boxing match, might be a football game, might be a concert or something. That's a lot cheaper than having a tip a waitress, which waitresses and waiters earn their money honestly, always tip. But what I'm saying is that when it comes time for you to not have and tipping somebody, you need to stay inside, prepare something. Even if you order out on a pizza, you got vegan pizzas out there too now. You have a wide choice. Somebody, what you talking about eating pizza? I don't eat no pizza. Listen, at home is always the best. You don't have to tip. People can chip in. You can do something nice for less than what you cost, what the cost would be going out to a restaurant just for the price that you spend. You know what I mean? So you got to think about these things. And don't, look, some people, they want to flex out. Some people, hey man, you cheap. No. You go waste your money, right? And then we have the mindless mobile shopping, right? You're in the line somewhere. You're in a doctor's waiting room. You're on public transportation. And you start looking at stuff on Amazon. You're like, I can get that. And you hit the buttons. It's just that easy to chew into your credit card, to chew into your, if you have a debit card, right? No good. Just know what it is that you might need and research it. And, on Amazon, you can get something reduced for something that's slightly used. Or maybe it's not used, but for some reason, you can get it slightly reduced. Always look at your options. You see what I mean? But people sometimes, out of boredom, we're so used to having our minds bombarded with information and stimulation that the cell phone, the smartphone, which is really makes you dumb sometimes, it has become the modern day crack pipe. You know what I mean? Like, we wake up with it. Like, even still, I'm not going to lie, because I create a lot of content and I'm always researching stuff, right? I woke up. Mrs. SCURV got up, went in the garden in the back. She's lost herself back there just doing her thing. And I stayed up till daybreak. If you want to see, you go to TikTok, Lancescurv.com. That's my TikTok. And you will see the sunrise that I worked all through the night. And I was so surprised when I looked out the window. I was like, whoa, the sun is out bright. So I walked out on the balcony and I just said a few words and just captured, just the noises of nature, cock-a-doodle-doo, right? But yeah, the mindless mobile shopping, the stimulation of social media has gotten our brains. You got to understand, it has gotten us to a level of stimulation that we are used to. We can't sit still. Since moving up into the mountains, I've practiced this. Like, for the next 6 hours, I am not getting on my phone. For the next 6 hours, unless something of an emergency. I'm still connected, but I refuse to just mindlessly go on TikTok, and my thumb starts doing exercises, scrolling up and down, Facebook scrolling up and down, YouTube scrolling up and down. No, I'm the chef. I'm the one who prepares the meal. I'm not just the person who's sitting there and eating. And yeah, I eat and consume other content creators' stuff, but it's got to be worthwhile to me. I even budget that, because as much as I'm online creating content, if I did that other stuff, I wouldn't have a life. I need time. I need hours now in the sun. I need hours now away from the phone. I cut the phone off. Sometimes I leave it way upstairs somewhere where I have to go up a flight of steps or two to go and get it. You have to do that. Time for me has moved so much different since coming out into nature. Now, many people may not have that option, but you can go into yourself. You can find a place to have a quiet moment. You know what I mean? I remember one time I had to go to a spot way up in the Bronx, up near New Rochelle. A friend of mine didn't have a ride, and I was nearby. So I was like, you lucked out, because I wasn't coming to Queens all the way up to New Rochelle, but I happened to be up in the upper Bronx. And it was like, okay, you let me know. Say, hey man, come on by and pick me up in an hour. And this was like about 2 a.m, but I was already up there, dealing with some of my at the time, those conundrums that old SCURV used to do. And so I left and I came to pick him up. It was a party. It was decent. There were decent people there, but he wasn't ready to go. And I'm like, man, and, I got a soft heart. I said, okay, man, enjoy yourself. And they invited me in and said, oh, this is my friend, whatever. And the noise got to be too much for me. I love the noise in the crowds, but this night I just wasn't feeling it. I was craving a Sunday, the way most alcoholics who hang out all night on a Saturday night crave that Sunday where they can play country music and sit there and dry out and get over with the hangover. I don't drink, so that wasn't the problem. I just had overloaded on stimulation at that time because we didn't have cell phones and social media. You had to be social to get the rush of social media that we have today. So it was so much noise, and they had some pretty women there. And they were talking to me, and I wasn't standoffish. I just felt drained. Yeah, I should have after what I did about an hour or two before. But I just felt drained. And I was talking with them and personality and being nice and everything. But at one point, there were two women sitting on either side of me. We were talking. I was turning my head this way, turning my head that way. At one point, I said, why don't you both sit over there so I could talk to both of you? And the one sitting next to me didn't like that. She wanted to sit next to me. So I was talking. And I had to go to the restroom. I went to the restroom. Can't tell you what I did. I was standing up, right? I wasn't sitting down. But it was so peaceful. And all I could hear was the thumping of the music. Boom, 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 boom. And they had in the house maybe like 3 or 4 bathrooms. So I didn't feel guilty. My friend said, go all the way upstairs. Nobody will bother you. But I didn't have to do anything long, right? Too much information. The bottom line is, after I finished doing what I was doing, tinkling, I just stood there for a while, quiet. I could hear all the noise downstairs and it was like, wow. So I'm going to bring it back to this. We're so used to the stimulation of the smartphone that it has become such a crucial part of our day because it gives us something. Sometimes mindless, sometimes good information. Choose. But when you get into that mindless mobile shopping, it could be an enemy because you can spend more than you're supposed to. If you do a little bit every day, it's almost like the sinking of the Titanic. And that's your wallet. That's your budget. Budget is a 6-letter word, but for some people, it's a 4-letter word. Not a whole thing now. Eating out. Get your mind out the gutter. But eating out. It's okay to eat out every now and then. But really and truly, for me, and I'll just say this, they say the average American spends over $3,000 a year on restaurants and takeout. Why do you think the Chinese folks are in the black neighborhoods? You talk about ain't no money in the black neighborhood. Think again. The Chinese are there. And they're sacrificing too because lots of times they live above or behind the restaurant. And when you see them back there cooking, they take shifts. I mean, the whole family's back there doing their thing. Some will stay up. Some will, the men might be up on a Friday, Saturday night, and the weekend when things can jump off. And you see the women, midday, early afternoon, in the morning doing things. And they're right there. They don't have any commute. They're right on the job where they make money. Work doesn't always have to be get up, go out, punch a clock, sit down. You're commuting. You're spending money. You're spending time sitting there burning gas. And then you're getting pennies on the dollar from the person who hired you. Not to go off on that, but that's just something I wanted to say. So we spend over $3,000 a year on restaurants, right? And takeout. Okay, what if we didn't spend all $3,000 on one Chinese joint? Because it could be going out with friends. And also, if you have a business, it is a tax write-off. What is it, 50% of your dining you can use as a tax write-off as long as it's something used for business? But who's going to be honest? You're eating up at a sushi joint by yourself. I'm writing this bad boy off. This is some good food. You can do that. You can do that. But just think of the people who are in our neighborhoods siphoning off money because we're too lazy to cook. And some people say, oh, it's inconvenient. Well, guess what? What if the Chinese joint, what if the pizza joint, what if that other fast food joint selling burgers, McDonald's, Burger King, whatever, what if they closed down? What if they weren't there? You have to deal with your hunger. What are you going to do? You start looking at that old shoe sitting in the corner. Say, man, I'll take that old boot right there and slap it between 2 pieces of bread. Throw a little ketchup on it. I'm good. I'm not saying you're actually going to do that because you'll make yourself sick, especially if you stepped in dog mess, right? But you gotta think about every single penny. Think about it. Because at the end of the day, it's you who have to suffer, and we're eating our money up because of lack of discipline. And we wonder, right? Oh, here's another one. Paying for unused subscriptions. You got magazines, but you never read them. You know, you have an online TV subscription, but you're never there to watch it. What about that job listing website that you paid to go on, but you got the job already, but every month it's siphoning out, maybe, let's just make it up, $3 or $4. $3 or $4. And say, for example, hopefully not, but say, for example, your bank account or the particular bank account that you have these things coming out of, it may be just one account that you have, it may be 4 or 5. But now, beyond your knowledge, things came out and now it's down to $2. Come on, y'all, don't front. We all been there. You know what I mean? Well, I never let mine go down that low. Come on, man. We've all been hit with the overdraft, right? And if you haven't, I applaud you. But when we're young and foolish, things happen. So now you're down to $2, right? In your bank account, and you're not aware of this job listing website that you still pay for that may be $4 that you don't feel because you're on your smartphone ordering stuff, right? Because you're getting high on that electronic, Wi-Fi crack pipe. And now the $4 comes out of your account, but you got 2. And now pretty much, I don't know what the fees would be. Please tell me what the overdraft fees are, overdraft protection or whatever you want to call it, what the fees are for your bank and maybe your bank. Let's have fun with the comment section. Tell us about that. You're not admitting that, well, it went down that low, but you know what the fees are and you want to stay away from that. So now you had $2 in your bank account, $2 and change, and something, $4 comes out. And now you got to pay, I think Wells Fargo was like $35. So now you paid $39 because of $2 that you didn't have in your account. And you don't want to have it go out exactly. But these are the things that happen while you're on your smartphone ordering stuff, while you're eating out, while you're paying $4 a cup for coffee, right? It's Starbucks, and you're buying bottled water at the rest stop on the highway. Just convenience. Oh, I'll just do it this one time. And you keep saying it. Come on now. It's just like, horny little aroused adolescents where we're just going to not use protection. We'll just do it this one time. That might be the time when you hit the target, okay? Ovaries are there to be hit. Just this one time can change your life. Just this one time, as far as your spending, and you keep doing it over and over and it becomes a habit, trust me, it changes your life, right? But the unused subscriptions that are unnecessary, eliminate what it is that you're not truly using. Even me, running Lancescurv.com, I pay for a lot of extra things that are add-ons that if they're not using it, the folks not using it, why am I paying for it? You know what I mean? Let me just get rid of this. Nobody's noticing this. And there's specific things that have saved me so much money. And I can take that money and save it or put it towards something that I'm really using. But the main thing is to go lean, because we don't know. We're about to go into this digital currency, more so, especially in America. It's already in China, I think in certain parts of UK. I got to keep up with that. But it's here. It's looming over the horizon. And people don't realize the power that somebody else has over our money. It's going to get to the point where if you say something controversial on social media, that they can stop some of your money from coming to you where you can use it. They'll dock it somehow. That's scary. All your hustles that you have, get into doing them. I'm not saying illegal stuff, but just, okay, there's an older woman that is on a limited income and you charge her a little bit of money just to go by and clean a whole house for her. And it's a really good deal. If this becomes digitized or finances or cash and the cash is gone, how do you do that? Let's get a little more decadent. What are the prostitutes going to do? Ain't no cash around. What are you going to do? Take the card and swipe it down the crack of, I'm not going to say that, right? But how do you do that? There's going to be a lot of people out here starving because of that are not in the system. And I'm not saying go in the system, but if you want to get out of the system, now's the time to do it if you can afford to get out of the system. or reduce your dependency on the system and take your money out and do what you need to do with it. Invest in worthwhile things. You got dudes out here, yeah, man, I'm going to go down to the Mercedes dealership. You know, I done got my money for that case, right? I done got my money for that case, man, a couple years, man, paying that lawyer. But, you know, we paid him off. He made a crap load of money. But you know what? I got a little $250,000. I always wanted me a Mercedes, man. I'm going to get me one at the top of the line. I ain't going to get no baby bands. I've been waiting for this. I deserve it. You know, my wife left me and left me destitute. My kids don't talk to me. And the girlfriend I had, man, she was cheating on me. So you know what? I need to go on and get this Benz. What? So how are you going to maintain it? Because you feel like you have a lot of money now to change the brakes and something with the radiator or something with something electronic on it is going to eat you up. And you might have gotten $250,000 from that thing. That Benz is going to eat your money up. Why don't you take some cash and get some land? Get some land. Get some land in a warm climate where push come to shove, you can grow your own food. But see, we're too stupid. We're so much in the system and want to impress people. We're not thinking about how we can maximize our money, maximize our resources, because at the end of the day, unfortunately, money that we have is exchange for life force, our precious life force. Look, them Chinese people in the back of the Chinese restaurant that you might laugh at and say, ah, ha, 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 they don't make much money. Look at them funny shoes they got on. They got their little black pants on with the white socks, look like Michael Jackson doing the moonwalk, ha, 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 ha. And they're eating out of little bowls. And when you look in the bowls that they're eating out of, they're not eating the same thing that they're selling you. They're not eating up all that fried up stuff and stuff. And we going in there, we got oil all on our face. Like, I mean, my God, you can do an oil change with what you wipe off your face because of the oily fried foods that you're not supposed to be eating. And you're paying big for it. $3,000 a year in restaurants and takeout. Now, for some, it might be $500. For some, it might be $6,000. I know people that out of the 7 days out of the week, 5 or 6 days out of the week, they go to restaurants and eat. And they cannot control what goes into their food. So they're consuming ingredients and they're not even asking, what kind of oil are you cooking in? You shouldn't be using the excess oil anyway. You know, I would always use a little bit here and there, but now it's like, I don't care if my stuff tastes dry. All that oil is not supposed to be going inside of you. And you're paying for it. And you're paying somebody to help kill you. That's the bottom line. Because when we get to the end, and there is an end of our transition, an end of our time here on this earth, and we transition, and hopefully our essence ascends to something else better. I can't tell you what it is. I'm not going to get into that argument. But you're going to think back on your life. And if you know you have 1 day to live, it could have been when you had 1 more month. It could have been when you're on your deathbed. Let's just say it that way. I'm not trying to even sugarcoat it right now. And you know how it is. Well, I hope Grandma holds on because Uncle Louis is coming, but he's coming from California and he won't be here. He ain't taking the plane. He's scared of flying. So he's going to drive on over here. I hope she holds on so she can see Uncle Louis before she goes because the doctor said she got 1 more day. Chinese food, fried food, you would have had the time to hold your Uncle Louis' hand. Oh, you know, look, that's a grandmother, so it's not going to be somebody that's older, but, you know, your family, your people. That all of this helps to mold your life later on, no matter what it is, whether you're talking about money, or how you eat, how you live. Like I said the other day, it's been discovered that many people can get away with doing little abusive things to their body, but when they have an evil spirit and when they're cranky and frustrated and jealous of the next person and peeping and watching and mad, not focusing on their own life, that's the thing that will kill you the fastest. A bad spirit. But if you want to remain destitute and broke, don't start blaming everybody. Oh, man, the white man, I mean, the system, whatever. You know what there are rules that will work no matter what color you are. Stop blaming the white. Some of y'all live in a place where you don't even see no white people for days, for weeks, but you blaming the white man. Why don't you look into yourself and what you're doing to yourself? Because some people, look, I'm not changing. Listen, I know how the system is. I know how racism is. I've talked about it for all these years. I've known about it for the time longer than I've been online. I've been the victim of it so many times, but I am not a victim. It's something that has hit me, but I think to myself, how do I not get hit this way again? So where I am is advantageous to me in so many ways. I'm partially out of the system. I'm mostly out of the system, but I have a little way to go. You see what I mean? It's not how much you make, it's what you don't spend. And the time that you can spend with your family without the bills always climbing up on you, like being in a roach-infested apartment. You're slapping roaches, spraying roaches. The exterminator comes and sprays out the roaches. They run next door, and when all the stuff dries up, they come on back. It's always something on your back. Why do it to yourself and make it even worse? You see what I mean? That's where we need to be going with this conversation. It's crazy. It shouldn't be. But that's just the way it is with most of us, man, out here. Anyway, I can go on and on, but there's one more point I want to say. One more point. The bottom line is that we have been subjected to some things that are not good over the time on this earth as a people. And because we've been reduced to feeling not too good about ourselves, we tend to go and try to make ourselves look good or feel good by wearing our wealth on our sleeve. And I admire those who don't fall into that. And many of those are chastised in the black community because you're not wearing the latest fashion. You don't have the latest hairstyle. You're not putting tattoos up and down your neck, and just giving yourself a look. And we must look like fools in general. I'm not saying you have to wear budget this and budget that all the time, but you can pull yourself up to a better situation. I'm not even going to say the bootstraps, because sometimes we don't even have bootstraps symbolically. Sometimes we don't have people who can help us or feed into us. But if you're a winner and you do right, people will loan you money or give you money faster than if you're just somebody blowing it. You got to be about something. You got to be about, even if you are what they call broke, it has to be where people can see that you're working towards something, you're building something, you're studying for something, you're always on the grind for something. And now that I have 24/7 to do what it is I want to do with pretty much no responsibilities at all, I can do that. But I'm not going to blow that. Well, I got time. Let me just sit around and do nothing. No, I need to really put the pedal to the metal and really burn it out in a good way without burning myself out. But our emotions and a lack of good self-esteem will make us put things on the external and pay for it and waste our money and pay. One of the biggest things too is that we're paying too much for the things that we get, right? If you got 10 to 15 pairs of shoes, what are you complaining about? Oh man, I gotta get that next pair of shoes. Check yourself. Check yourself. How many shoes do you need? How big of a mansion do you need? You know what I mean? Like, okay, if you cash out and you say, hey, this is going to be real affordable to build this place, and I can use it as an Airbnb later on. You're thinking business. You're thinking practical. How could I sit home and get paid? You're not lazy. You have so many people who are digital nomads that make their money on the internet. And you can go travel to different countries and still be present at a job or something that you do on the internet. But we have internet, we pay for internet, and we're not making it work for ourselves. If you're a mechanic and you're not working out of a shop that you own, or it's no shop that you can work out of, well, why don't you set up a website when you get that next a tax return check and give advice on how to repair vehicles and be there for so many hours and charge for some consultation and actually helping them. They can hold their camera up, their phone up, and you can walk them through simple things. You got to use your brains. What value do you bring to the world instead of paying out to feel as though you have value by what you wear that may be a so-called name brand? And look at the irony of the whole thing. Name brand. Brand. Branded like a slave. You are the property of the slave master. So they would take that hot metal and brand a mark inside of you on your flesh or name or whatever it is. And you're property of so and so and so. And we're doing the same thing. You bragging about being somebody's slave. You're bragging about building up somebody else's name. You're bragging about elevating someone else when you can make your own name. No, I'm not. No. Not any other name for me. Oh, them name brand jeans and them sneakers, them Nikes you got on, man. Oh, man, that's that. You went to the jewelry shop, that famous jeweler, man. No. You should be about your name and put it out there and have something to offer just the way I'm about my name. I'm not against anybody, but I'm not going to just forfeit this thing. It's about Lancescurv, y'all. If I make some jeans, it's going to be SCURV wear. And it's going to be affordable. I'm just pulling stuff out of the sky. It's going to be affordable. It's going to be something that you want to wear. And you'll be proud because a black man made it. And so much of it will go donated to some cause or something like that. Because I believe and I feel in the corporate world, they are just so greedy. And because certain names are out there, bling bling wise, we want to spend extra and we brag about it. And we don't have anything in our bank accounts. We don't own anything. We don't even own the dwelling that we're in. And if you do, you're paying for it every month. And the maintenance of it, and this and this and that. And yeah, there'll always be maintenance, but break out of that cycle. Again, like when I started this particular recording, right? I spoke about the bucket that had the holes in it. We are poking holes in our own buckets. See? And we're trying to fill the bucket up. We should be accumulating money. We should be accumulating resources. There was a guy on, he was featured. There was a guy who was speaking about him. And this is an Indian dude. And he makes $250,000 a year. He lives in a house that probably cost him about maybe, I'd say about $125,000. Just off the dome. Might have been 200. I don't know. This man possibly could have paid off his house cash, but you have other expenses. Let's just say 4 years. And say it was, let's just say it was $100,000, just to make it simple. It could be two. Let's just say $200,000, right? And he's making $250,000 a year, right? And so say he put 50 out of that $250,000 that he's making, 4 years his house is paid for. But he's smarter than that. He kept the mortgage. And there were tax write-offs because he had kept the mortgage going on. But also check this out. That house, and it was in Orlando, Florida. I know Orlando quite well, and I can kind of tell where he was. He was on the east side, more, not too much on the east side. He didn't even have a fence around his place. The houses were close together. This joker could have went and got a mortgage for a house that was $1 million with the amount of money that he made or he makes. And he's only 33 years old. And this dude wasn't even caring about his fashion. He didn't even iron his shirt before he got in front of the TV cameras to explain his life. And they were so fascinated how you can live in America. Now, everybody doesn't make $250,000, but really and truly, he made a base salary, and the perks and the bonuses brought it up to that. So what he did was that his base salary, he never touched. And so the perks paid for him living. And check this out. You making $250,000. Let's just take, look, hey, I got to get on y'all. And when I get on y'all, I'm getting on me too. But let's just take some black people, right? Some who don't know about finances, some who, well, I'm going to work this job and when I'm retired, and you 35 years old, talking about when you 65 years old. Why you got to wait so long? And what would they do with that $250,000, right? What would they do with it if they had it? They would probably, and this goes for anybody, not just black people. You know, I got a special thing for my people. They would go, you know what kind of car they would get? What kind of condo and have to pay fees when you can start a business? Because if you are making $100,000, that alone for most people would make them happy. And it's not going to be where you're living wealthy, because that's not really a lot of money these days. Yeah, I mean, you can live below your means and make that work. I know I can make it work. Shoot, I wish on my fixed income, I wish I had that. 2 years of that, I'm straight. 1 year of that, I'm straight. Shoot, I did some awesome things without even having it like that. Making so much an hour, right? And maintaining it on a pension. So most black people, what? It'd be bling bling all over all kind of cars, and not even thinking about your future. How many people who have won and hit the lottery, as much as they say, when I hit that lottery, their mindset changes according to what's in their pocket. You know how many black people, when tax return time comes, If they get 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, don't even have a couple kids and get 8 or 9,000, you can't tell them nothing. Their butt is up on their shoulder. They don't even have to reach down and behind to itch their backside. They reach over their shoulder like they're getting ready to touch their neck because their backside is so high up. I call them knapsack booties. We used to make fun of girls who had high butts. Look at her over there with that knapsack booty. She scratches by reaching over her shoulder. It's high up. It's like a neck rest. You just lay back and you lay back on your butt. Anyway, too much information. We're doing it to ourselves. So now check this out. The same Indian dude who's 33 years old, who doesn't care about fashion, who doesn't even iron his shirts and his collar before he gets on the television, right, to tell about this lifestyle, he ain't worried about impressing the women. He ain't worried about going to the club. He does some type of IT and coding and all of that stuff in that world. I know there's different ways of making money, but he makes that and he works for a company and he gets these bonuses. And a lot of his work is from home. That's even better. You know, when you wake up sometime, oh man, it's bad weather out there, man. My stomach don't feel too good and I just feel like staying home. And you got another friend or somebody, they're all off that day and they're going to go hang out with me. Man, I got to go to work. I ain't got no time off. You got to beg somebody for time off. That's the way it works. We know that. But when it gets tired after a while. But this guy, the house that he had wasn't huge, but it had 6 bedrooms. And when I saw the drone shot of the home from above, it didn't look like that. But they gave another shot and it's pretty long. And it's 2 stories. Because, you know, in Florida, you don't really have basements per se because of the high water table. You dig, you get water issues coming on. So usually it's just right on the flat land. So it was 2 stories. I don't know how the rooms are allocated in the floor plan, but this is what he did. This joker, I'm saying it for effect. I don't have anything against the man. I have a lot of respect for him. We need more people like that, no matter what the race. But this joker, he rented all 6 bedrooms, or maybe 5 of them, out to college students. That's why I know it's kind of out by the east side. I know it's by Valencia College East. Smart man. And he made the purchase of that home with that in mind. How much money you getting from renting out 5 bedrooms to college students? Now, if you're on a regular salary or you regular service job where you're only making but so much money, 40, 50,000, that money is precious. But how many of us would do that if we made $250,000? This guy ain't playing. His cell phone bill, I remember, was only $23. Now, I don't know what kind of plan he was on. It's hard to get it like that. But you know he talked people down. He got the cheapest, probably Metro PCS plan or whatever. Maybe he was using an Obama phone. He would probably do that. I don't need to have phone with bells and whistles. I don't need pictures of women to come on my phone half naked to tempt me to spend money. Hey, it worked for him. But how many of us who don't even make anywhere near that money, we may make 1/5 of what he makes? Are we going to spend $125, $150 because on my phone I got to have this? Yeah, shoot, I got the brand new iPhone. And that's our status symbol. The car, the clothes, your hairstyle, the places you go to. We're going to go to this restaurant tonight. And I know it's going to be maybe for all 3 of us. And maybe we spend maybe $400 or $500. So you can go say to other people that you go there, yes, the waitresses know me, the waiters know me, because I frequent this place a whole lot. For some expensive doo-doo, and all you getting is protein, carbohydrates, fats, minerals, vitamins, and water. And you can go and make that stuff at home yourself and probably do it even better, but you want the prestige because your esteem is low. You know what I mean? So we have a lot of things that we need to tighten up with ourselves and about ourselves, because these other issues are making it where we're on a free fall financially, and generation after generation, we're not getting anywhere. I have several friends that have done well in this life, and they started out, might have been a service job, might have been law enforcement, good relationship, and that's another thing that messes up. The divorces and the marriages, and you're having children here and there. Nothing wrong with the children, but can you take care of them? Are they the byproduct of a night of lust? Are you planning for them? Did it just happen to come along and now you want to have this treatment of being Oh, you're a mother now. But let's just be real in our families now. I'm not going to hold back. I'm not saying this about any one of you who are listening, but how many whores have we known that are just out there slinging their panani to everybody, and they get knocked up, 3 and 4 baby daddies for 2 kids. Just said it that way. But they're out there, and now all of a sudden they had to slow down and they had to face the music. And oh, you're such a reputable mother. You had no choice. You didn't plan for this. And you know how much it is to raise a child aside from government assistance? And some women, I'm not blaming women, because the men, they knock them up and run too. So good, you got to pay that child support. You should be doing for your child anyway. It's not just about money. See, we do things and we have to pay for it, and then we want to turn around and say the white man. You see what I mean? I take my stuff on the chin. I don't go around talking about, oh, the white man did this. Look, when I saw that thing in front of me and nobody was around and my thing got hard and I got up in it with no condom, and you spray up in there, it feels so good. Cause I found what the world is searching for. Here, right here, my dear. I don't have to look no more. You're talking all that romantic stuff just to get up in the thing, and 2 weeks from then, you're not even talking no more. But you got to pay for it for the next 18 years. Like Kanye West said, 18 years, right? Think. We're so hedonistic and pleasure seeking that we'll take a whole week's salary and blow half of it on the weekend, taking our rent money and pulling it out, whatever the rent is, 500, 600, 700,000, and we go to the club with it, 5s and 10s rolled up. So when we whip it out, we buy the bar. You see that girl with the inviting cleavage, and so you whip out, and she's looking, because that's all she wants anyway. You ain't gonna get that. Let's just be real. And you trying to impress her. Yeah, get her what she want. Get her anything she want. I got you, baby. You looking so good tonight. What's your name? And she gonna tell you a name. And you down in the cleavage, and you look at them big legs and that miniskirt pressed up against that seat. Fools! You think that Indian dude gonna do something like that? He's not gonna do it. He's not gonna do it. Some of our sisters, one will get a handbag. The other one doesn't have it like that, but she want to go out and get the same handbag. I know somebody who doesn't like to see anybody with anything, that if you go out and buy one of something, they will find out the store and go buy 4 of them. And this person has money. They got buku money. They got millions, right? But that's their thing. They're so hung up that even with your millions, you can't do anything worthwhile because your mind is in such a low place. And that's sick. And it's wrong. And you're hanging yourself. And you got to think, these children that you're having, are you going to make it where you sacrifice yourself, even if you work a job, but to build something? Build something that they don't have to go and fill out an application. Build something that's waiting for them, that they start working in and learn that business long before they're out of high school. They're doing it from elementary school. They're around it. They're used to it. Junior high, middle school comes around. They're working in it. They're making money out of it. They understand that when you put the effort out and put it into something, that you get something back. And you don't need a job as a middleman to do this. I'm not knocking anybody who's had jobs. I've said this before. I've had plenty of jobs. But that spirit was put into me by my father, who had his own business, that I didn't really want to take over and do, because I was around it, and it was like we were switching over from the hands-on more so to the computer stuff. And he always told me, use your brain. This is hard work here. Use your brain. And I went on and did jobs and didn't realize what he was telling me. And so now at this point, which some people say, well, man, you old, it's too late. No, it's not too late. It's not the time you have, the man-made artificial thing called time, but it's the intensity. You can do and make a change right now. We spoke earlier on some bad habits that we use to put the holes in our buckets while we're trying to fill up the water, so the bucket never fills itself up, right? So it just wastes away. Bottled water, dry cleaning, daily coffees, mindless mobile shopping, eating out, paying for unused subscriptions, and there's a whole gazillion more things that are holes in the bucket that we're trying to fill with righteous resources called water. Not water, but money, right? And the effort and the drain that comes from taking your creative, precious life force, where you could think something up a need. And now, because of the internet, the whole world can be your customer. It doesn't have to be where you have a business brick and mortar and it's only the foot traffic that's coming around. Well, business is slow. Ain't nobody come around. If you offer something so unique, go on and think about it. You know something that other people don't know. You have had an experience that other people didn't have, or they have yet to go through this experience. And because you've been through it, it could be something good for advice or something bad to guide them from having a catastrophe. You have that experience. Reach out and share it. It's worth something to somebody. But we don't think that way. A lot of us think we can't do certain things. A lot of us think that what's inside of us has no value. And the level that you're on a level, look at it this way. Low self-esteem or not, you're on a level that you look up to other people on higher levels and you say, oh man, I'm not saying you say this, but lots of people say, I don't know if I can get to that level. But here, flip it. Don't you know that whatever level you're on, there's somebody on a level, I'm not saying anything is above or below, like nobody's better than anybody. But what I'm saying as far as earning and career or just making money, there's somebody on a level below you who would love to be on your level. And here you are knocking yourself like it's not enough. I'm not saying accept it as being enough. Always strive to go higher, but don't knock yourself from where you are. I used to drive a bus for many, many years. Do you know how many people I met driving the bus? Conversations that I had driving the bus, that because I was the bus driver. Now, I'm not saying that that's like so reputable, because you got a lot of grimy bus drivers. I do know that. But because when people see you, they already know you're drug tested. And pretty much, and you had bus drivers that got busted for smoking crack on the bus too. I can tell you about that. But pretty much, you have to have been rested. You have to be stable. You can't come there with no hangovers and half tired because you're up partying. You have to have had a certain level of discipline. And when they meet you and see how you speak day after day, how you carry yourself, and they may see you in the supermarket, Walmart or Target with your family. Oh, bus driver, how you doing? Those are your children, they're so good. And the children are kept so nice. That is something that they can trust. That even if they don't know your name right away, they have a vision of you on a higher standard because of the level that you're on. At the same time, some people want to cuss me out. Bus driver, you 5 minutes late. It might have been an accident 1 mile down the road that kept me. I was always on time pretty much. That when people know, oh, driver, I know you drive good, man. You always efficient. You always on time. So if you were 30 minutes late, I know it had to be something, because people know your style. You have this integrity and you're professional in whatever you do. Even if you sweep floors, just sweeping a janitor or somebody who's just sweeping floors and you don't even know the English language that good, you can go up. You can save your money. You must live below your means on whatever level you're on so that you have room to grow. You don't want to spend out all your money, because you know you have different levels of life out here. You got the poor neighborhoods and you got a bar right there and they still buying drinks as poor as they are. Sitting up drunk talking about the white man. We know the system that was put in place to keep us a certain way, but what about beating up on the system? What about figuring a way out of the system? What about that? What about bringing your minds together as opposed to thinking about gossip and who's screwing who and who you think stole money because they don't make that kind of money and they can't afford that car? They say it that way, car. You know, gossipy people got a way of speaking, depending on where you're from or where you live in the country. But we're doing it to ourselves. First line of defense, yourself. Take accountability. There's even like a couple of boxers that I've known. Mike Tyson was one of them back in the day when he was first coming up, and a couple other boxers. And they may have knocked out the opponent in the second round. And when the interviewer comes up and says, well, how do you feel about your performance tonight? Well, I think that if I could have got him in the first round, and I let him off the hook by a mistake that I made. But next time I'm going to get there. My next opponent, I'm going to knock him out in the first round. Wow, you knocked this huge dude, all muscle, no fat, trained, a high ranking in the heavyweight division. You knocked him out in the second round, and you knocking yourself because you could have got him in the first round. Really and truly, accountability. That's how we should be. That's how we should be. Why don't we have money saved up? I'm not even saying put it in the bank because they take out all their fees and stuff, but save your money, put it out towards something worthwhile. Let me tell you something. I don't know how many of you have gone through this. I'm on Telegram, right? Lancescurv on Telegram. Is it Lancescurv or Lancescurv.com? I'm not sure, but one of the Lancescurvs, you'll figure it out. And every day there is a pretty woman, and it ain't no woman. These are real people because I've tested them, right? But they'll formulate somebody appealing to you in their avatar. If I was some gay dude, it'd be some muscular dude, a gay looking dude with glossy lips or whatever smokes your drawers, but they'll present that to you. And hi or hello. And you're like, who the hell is this? And you look at their profile, you don't see anything, right? And so you play games with, oh, hi, how you doing? Oh, hi, you doing okay? You're a stranger, I don't know you. What do you mean am I doing okay? Maybe it might be somebody who follows me, so I have to be nice. And it's not too soon where they start asking, well, I have something I wanted to suggest to you, something of an investment that would bring you lots of returns. Either it's a fake bot, because I start playing with them sometime. You know what I mean? But they keep coming at you, and it doesn't stop. And sometimes we feel that the answer is something external. Oh, really? You get this much money? So, look, the basics, y'all. Unless your basics are taken care of, you have no business spending on what somebody says is a good investment. Get land. Get land and put a wall around it. Ain't nobody gonna steal your land. When you have it registered, nobody's gonna steal it. You can plant food on it or in it. You can build a house on it. And you can take your time. You can take your time with one room. Run out in the backyard and do your number one, number two. If it gets that basic, but you're not paying mortgage to nobody. You're not paying rent to nobody. And take your time. Yeah, we still need money to purchase certain things, but use it and build another room and another room. Have a big plan and you start out with a part of it. And put your money and take 3, 4, 5 years. Take 5 years of your life and say, you know what? Not that you're saying you're going to be broke, but you're going to invest and you're not spending on anything excess, right? Every penny counts. You'll be surprised what you can do within 5 years. You'll be surprised what you can do within 3 years. Stay away from the people who have no discipline, who want to go shopping all day. Then you tempted and then you feel bad because you're not buying anything. And then you're not going to buy anything? No. First of all, I don't even want to be here. You see what I mean? I mean, you may not answer your friends like that, but don't let the people around you get you into habits that you shouldn't be getting into just because of those who are around you. It's no good. It's no good at all. It's just so much we can talk about on this, and I will come back and visit this topic. But I just woke up and I said, let me just rant about something. So I said, let me come over here and push the record button and spill my guts on what's on my mind. And that's what I was thinking about. So, like I said, think before you spend. Don't get emotional about your spending. It's just the same way. I'm not picking on ladies now, right? Men do certain things too. But women sometimes, and you know the woman who does, or maybe it might not be about a hairstyle, but you break up with somebody and now you want to get new. I had an afro before, but now I'm going to straighten it up and I'm going to dye it blonde. Why are you doing that? It's not going to change anything. The brothers who are out there who go through a breakup and they want to get a brand new car and drive up and down their ex's street, what is a car going to do? You put yourself in debt for what? What's in this for me? You have to ask yourself, if I'm spending this money, what's in it long term for me? And in the spending, will it generate more money for me? If I spend on this, will it benefit me 5 years from now, 2 years from now? What is the benefit? See? That's what you have to think. You want to go out there and buy an $80,000 luxury car? Well, why can't you get something for 30? I'm saying 30 because things are so expensive right now. Hell, give me a Toyota Corolla, Toyota Yaris, because I'm a driveaholic, but I don't trust the way other people drive. So I'm only going to go probably 2 days out the week to go anywhere. Maybe one, because if I have all my food in my house, I'm not coming out. I got the internet, I can do my work there, and I can do other business things there. There's no limit on what you can do. Find your niche, discipline yourself, and please make it where your lack of discipline is not eating up your money. Money is very important. It doesn't have to be your God, but it's very, very important in this world. Learn the money game and win. Like that dude who makes $250,000 a year and rents out 5 of his bedrooms to college students, clips coupons, does everything and thinks about everything. Even with him with the teaser rates on credit cards, right? If you pay this up before the year is out, you'll pay no interest, or 6 months you pay no interest. He jumps from one card to the next. He doesn't pay any interest with anything. That guy's slick. You just can't be emotional and make a leap on emotion or low self-esteem. Look within yourself, rewire yourself so that you understand why you've done the things that you've done. And we get to these ages of 30 and 40 and 50 and have no idea on how money works. But even if you don't know how money works, and you don't have to be a scholar, just have discipline. Because at the end of the day, it's the lack of discipline that destroys our pocket and changes our life for the worse. Like those holes in the bucket that I mentioned when I first started talking. I love you all. Lancescurv out. I hope something that I said made sense in an entertaining way, because I'm not here to preach to anybody like I know everything. I'm still learning about certain aspects of money, but we can take this journey together. So at least when I do talk my talk, it's not just a rant for attention. I try to bring a little mental, physical, or spiritual nutrition to it. So after you laugh a little bit, you come out of it with something to stimulate you to get better. And isn't that what life is all about? To incrementally be better than we were the day before? To me, that's what it's all about. And I would hope that the 2023 version of Lancescurv is much better than the one last year. And I'm looking forward to being a better version of myself next year, but it starts with the building blocks that we use daily to make ourselves better. I'm not going to wait until that time. I'm working on myself now on all levels, so when I open my mouth to speak, you'll want to hear what I have to say. Let me hear your comments. Let me see your comments. I can't hear comments, but just write them down. Let's vibe in the comments section. Let me know what you think. And if you have something to add on to help other people with their spending habits, or little things that you do, you've learned to do, no matter how large or how small it may be, every bit counts. Trust me. Just like that $2 that person had in their account and something $4 came out of it. They had to pay an extra $37 for something that was unnecessary, right? Anyway, I love you all. Lancescurv out. Peace.